an unbelievable moment. Standing in the middle with the people, singing the Negaraku. Bersih initially started as a clean and fair election movement. It's gradually built into a movement for democracy. So the challenge was to encourage people to get interested in this boring subject because it was so vital to our democracy. People didn't know they were being cheated.
Chin Huat, Ambiga and myself actually had the idea that it would be an advocacy NGO looking into electoral reform and improving the processes and the procedures. But it was the people who decided the direction of Bersih, turning it into a people's movement.
Bersih menyediakan satu naratif yang boleh diraih, dipercayai oleh ramai rakyat Malaysia. Tanpa rakyat, Bersih tidak akan hidup dan juga berjuang.
When we were first founded in 2006, Malaysia was ruled by the same coalition for almost 5 decades. Election was just a formality to endorse the same government again and again. Bersih galvanized the public and make them believe that change was possible.
Planning the protest of Bersih has always been challenging. From day one when we got involved in Bersih 2 rally in 2011, we are from the NGO, never planned large protests before. We were told that we were doomed to fail. Somehow or other the people came out, they supported and they had that confidence and they wanted to be part of this whole movement. So it didn't matter that we got arrested or we got caught into court cases, but we know that we had the support behind us. When I was arrested, I didn't know what was happening outside. When I came out, then I know that what has happened. The rally itself, what came about, and also the nightly candlelight vigil. I really want to thank everyone who came out that night. These were actually images that I cannot forget. There was so much of confidence in all of us that we feel so empowered to be able to actually move forward. Seeing the sea of yellow is really very empowering for me. When you look at Bersih 5, we went from town to town. We actually did it was mainly because it was a way to reach out to people and tell them that this is what we are doing, this is your platform, this is your movement, and we want to hear their participation.
I was organizing and mobilizing various teams throughout the length and breadth of Sarawak to take part in the Bersih convoy. We were virtually traveling like 800 kilometers from Miri to Kuching. We were sharing about Bersih's demands. It wasn't easy because it was, number one, it was quite hard to get people to buy into the Bersih call for reforms. But at that time, we had the 1MDB scandal.
How do we get the message to the people? What would 2.6 billion mean to the people in the interior? So we change it lah. We said like, okay, in this area we say 2.6 billion is berapa juta kerbau kau boleh beli, berapa juta bidang tanah kau boleh beli. So this one they get it lah. So what is memorable about this is that people began to understand more that it is not just an agenda from West Malaysia. It is now our voices. Because one of the tuntutan which is printed on the back of the t-shirt is to memartabatkan hak orang Sabah dan Sarawak.
Wearing the scarf because this reminds me of Global Bersih. The creation of Global Bersih, Maria did the work on that, which has grown into its own movement, worldwide Bersih movement. This was given to me by someone, a Bersih supporter in Melbourne. And everywhere we went, where there were Bersih supporters, you would be met at the airport, or they would ask you to speak, so it made us a family, and that was a very wonderful, memorable journey as well.
Saya mengimpikan Malaysia untuk menjadi contoh kepada dunia bahawa rakyat berbilang kaum, berbilang agama boleh hidup sekali dan boleh memajukan negara ke tahap yang sangat-sangat tinggi.
We can't leave Malaysia that is riddled with bullets of corruption, of all these imbalances of power. Why I'm here? Because I believe in democracy, I believe in the power of the people, and it's not just the work of one person. It has to be a continuous work.
I keep going because of the future that I see. I keep going because Malaysia is worth fighting for. Has always been, will always be. No matter how overwhelming the negativity is coming from the government, we must push back. We must call it out. If it's racism, we call it out. If they are inhumane, we must call it out. But the hope I have lies in the youth. I have seen some amazing this Lawan movement, the Undi 80 movement, what they have achieved is unbelievable, and I think that is our hope for the future.
It is time for the Rakyat to reassert our supremacy and to make the elected representative work for us. But more than that, we want the public to be with us in this push for reform. 15 years later, our vision is still to be that beacon of hope for Malaysians who want to see a fairer, cleaner, more democratic, more inclusive and harmonious Malaysia. Bersih identifies some of the weaknesses and loopholes within our political system. After we have identified them, we commission experts and researchers to look into the best practices from around the world and make recommendations that would strengthen our democracy. We do our advocacy, number one, by reaching out to politicians and lawmakers from both sides of the divide, and also engaging with the public so that they will understand what needs to be done to improve our democracy and strengthen our political system. We continue to push for key electoral and institutional reforms that will make democracy and politics work for the people instead of being a constant source of distraction and instability. Ketuanan pengundi, hidup demokrasi.